Hey everyone, Drew from FANDOM here, and we've got some fun stuff to talk about today. The Death Note trailer for the live-action movie just landed, and it's kind of got the internet talking a little bit because we've also got another big anime adaptation, Ghost in the Shell, coming out soon. I'm joined with Bob, an anime fan, and Bob, you've got some interesting opinions about this Death Note trailer. I mean, you've read the original manga and everything, so I mean, what's your kind of take on what we've seen so far?
Right. Well, like you said, I've read the original manga. I've seen the anime series, which is a direct adaptation, and I can tell you the kernel of the idea is something that can definitely be translated into different different forms. But I feel like reducing everything that happens in Death Note to a 90-minute movie is a mistake. The beating heart of that series is an escalating level of stakes. And the stakes start extremely high and they only get higher from there. And I feel like it might be kind of fatiguing to just sort of condense all of that into one movie. I understand, of course, they will have to cut some stuff out, but I just feel like with every C-list Marvel character getting their own TV show, why couldn't this just be a TV show? I mean, it was a 52-episode TV show in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, there's also something to be said about translating anime or Japanese properties over to America. I mean, sometimes do you feel like something gets lost in translation? You know, it's kind of hard to recapture that kind of tone.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I feel like Death Note is rooted in the Japanese horror trope of a very ordinary object having supernatural powers. In The Ring, of course, it was a VHS tape. In Death Note, it's a notebook. I feel like there's something very culturally Japanese about that. And with things like Death Note and with things like Ghost in the Shell, I do detect a real lack of confidence because Ghost in the Shell was huge 20 years ago, and Death Note was huge 10 years ago. And I feel like where were these adaptations then? Why did you wait 10 years to make this? I feel like there's a real lack of confidence, and it's only going to be a movie. I mean, that's still a big deal for fans of Death Note, but I just detect a little bit of unease when they're dealing with these properties.
I've seen about 12 minutes of Ghost in the Shell, and it's weird. Like, it definitely has kind of a weirder take on the material. And the director, Adam Wingard, who I really love from films like The Guest and his recent Blair Witch, I think will bring a horror tone to it that is appropriate for the material. Do you think that maybe it's about getting the right people or kind of treating these with a little bit more prestige than they have been in the past?
Well, I think getting a horror director, number one, is a great move for this movie as much as I am worried about it. I do feel like his sensibility will add a lot to Death Note, and it might change the tone a bit. I feel like the original Death Note was a very clean sort of horror. When the main character writes the name of a person who will die in his notebook, spoilers, they just have a heart attack and die. There's no grisly deaths. And something about this trailer makes me think it's going to be a lot grittier, a lot bloodier. I just get that sense, and that could be an interesting way to take this. I'm not sure how you feel about that.
I mean, I love horror. I'm a horror fan first and foremost, so I'll take anything I can get. And hopefully we can see, you know, like by getting people like Willem Dafoe involved, a little bit more class applied to these. But we'll wait and see. Ghost in the Shell is going to be coming out soon, and Death Note's also coming out later this year. So hopefully we can get some really good anime adaptations. Bob, thanks so much for talking with us.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot, Drew.